Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Ian, and today I have a good video in mind. I'm going to be walking through my recent trip to Zakopane, Poland. This was a 4-day hiking trip in August, and I'm going to give you all the links and everything you need to do the trip yourself. Now, this is the first video that I've made like this, but I'm planning to make more in the future about weekend itineraries and other summer hikes, or winter hikes for that matter, or winter skiing, other outdoor stuff that should be fun. So if you want to, consider subscribing, and then you'll get notified with every new video I make. So first things first, I want to jump and show you the map so you know where Zakopane is. It's right in the High Tatras mountain range, right in between the border of Poland and Slovakia. This mountain range is really beautiful and it's worth the travel that it takes to get there. The way I got there, I live in Berlin now, and I flew from Berlin to Warsaw, and then I flew from Warsaw to Krakow, and then I took a bus. It was about a 4-hour bus ride from Krakow to Zakopane, and then when you're in the town of Zakopane, you can take little buses to get around to the start of the trails and the hiking. The place I stayed is called the Goodbye Lenin Hostel. It was a beautiful, cozy little hostel with all these very, very friendly travelers and staff at the hostel. It was also super cheap, and if I were to go there again, I'd recommend just bringing some earplugs so you can make sure you get a good night's sleep. There were around 12 people in the room I was sleeping. So once I got there with my friend Rosan, our plan was to take 2 big days hiking, followed by traditional Polish meals in Zakopane, which were amazing. First thing I'm gonna jump into is just what each of these day hikes were. So let me grab the map. The first day we got up around 6 a.m. and took a bus from the hostel to Kuznis, which is where a lot of these hikes start. So then we hiked up the trail to Givon, which is this beautiful peak. And then we took the yellow trail up the mountain ridge and followed this around to the town of Kiri. Now, it was a little bit foggy when we went, but this ridge would be a really, really beautiful one when it's sunny. Once we were in Kiri, it was really easy to take a bus back to Zakopane where we had dinner. My pronunciation was definitely awful, but that was such a traditional, beautiful meal that I'd recommend anyone to go there if they were to stay in Zakopane. And the second day, we got up at 6 a.m. again, and we took a local bus to Palencia Balanciakska. Oh my God, like that was I'm sure really bad, but basically this is the place where a lot of tourists are going because they want to go climb the highest mountain in Poland in this mountain range that's called Rizy, and see this beautiful lake that's called the Morzy Ono Lake. And I know these things are beautiful and they're a good accomplishment and all this, but we decided not to go there because we knew that they were going to be so crowded even very early in the day. So we took the bus to where you would go to see those, but then we actually took a different route, which was also beautiful. We took the green trail, which passed by a couple of waterfalls, and ultimately worked our way up to Zawrat, which was this mountain pass that we then entered this beautiful valley. Once you're at the top in the Zawrat Pass, I would recommend to go up. There are these beautiful ridges. If you're an advanced or very strong hiker, I would go up along these ridges. That's the red trail. But if you're not up for that, we were too tired after making it to Zawrat that we followed down the valley on the other side, the blue trail, which are right to this lake that's called the Sarzystra Ganaskika. This is something I'm not going to say very well, but basically that lake, and then to a mountain hut called the Maruaniak, which was had a great spot for for like pretzels and hot dogs and apfelstrudel, and that was really nice. And then we followed down the blue trail again to Kuznis, which then we took the bus back to the hostel. Now, day 2, it was really sunny, so it was super beautiful, especially on this valley that led up to Zawrat, where you're on this blue trail on the other side. It was so beautiful, and a lot of the people who had hiked up to the more popular routes on the other side didn't make it up to this Zawrat peaks. So looking back, this was an awesome weekend trip. I ended up taking the Friday and the Monday off from work, and so these 2 hiking days were the Saturday and the Sunday, and then we needed Monday to get back, and I needed Friday to get there. So it's worth keeping in mind if you also want to take as few vacation days as possible to do this trip. If I were to go and have the trip be longer, I would stay a few more days in the mountain hostel, and there are far more hikes and beautiful other things to see in this mountain range. The next thing I want to break down, you want to know probably how expensive this is all going to be. So the accommodation, because I flew on Thursday night at the very start of it and stayed in Krakow, this was the Thursday night. It was 23 euros to stay in that hostel. followed by 3 nights at the Goodbye Lenin hostel, which ran me a total of 31 euros for all 3 nights. So this is Zakopane pricing, and it was great. The transportation was a round trip flight. This is the most expensive line item. Was 147 euros from Berlin to Warsaw to Krakow. The Flixbus from Krakow to Zakopane was 12 euros both ways. The Flixbus is a very well-known bus carrier around Europe. The Uber in Krakow was 7 euros. Local buses when in Zakopane were around 20 euros for the course of the entire trip. Food, we had 2 big meals after hiking with beers, appetizers, entrees, desserts, pierogies, all the pierogies you could ever want. This ended up being 40 euros for the course of this weekend, and other meals, groceries, hiking, this all ended up costing around 30 euros. So in total, we're looking at 323 euros for the course of the entire trip. I think the big win was the staying in this hostel, because it ended up being so cheap, and such a score in terms of the people we got to meet and all this sort of thing. And there's not much more to say. It was a beautiful hike, and I would recommend it to anyone. If you want to see any of the other links or anything else I've mentioned, you can look in the show notes below, and I'll try to provide everything. If there are any questions you have that I can also answer, please leave them down below and I can get back to you. Thanks again for watching. Have a good day and enjoy your trip to Poland if you're going to go.